The council chamber was silent, but the weight of the decision made the air feel like stone. Outside the huge glass walls, the stars twinkled, indifferent to the quarrels of humans. For decades, the council had ruled over the colonies, making rules that decided who lived, who died, and who could dream. Yet tonight, for the first time, humanity refused to obey. Commander Elena Vera stood at the edge of the chamber, watching the council members shuffle papers and whisper. She had never seen them so uneasy. Their usual calm faces were tight with tension. For years, the council had underestimated humanity, treating them like pawns in a game they didn't understand. But humans were different. They had stubbornness, creativity, and most dangerously, pride. Elena's communicator beeped. She ignored it. Now was not the time for messages from the fleet. The fleet could wait. Tonight, history was being written here, in this cold, metallic room with a view of the entire city below. The citizens waited, unaware that their fate had just shifted. The council president, a tall being with silver skin that reflected the chamber lights, stood up. Humanity, he began, his voice echoing unnaturally. We have decided. Before he could finish, a roar of defiance erupted from the assembly. Elena had seen something like it once before during a rebellion on the Mars colonies, but this was different. This was a united voice rising in anger and fear, in determination and hope. The humans did not plead. They did not bargain. They simply said, enough. A ripple of shock ran through the chamber. The council members froze. Some whispered to each other in panic. Elena felt her stomach tighten. This was no ordinary protest. This was the spark that could ignite something unstoppable. The president's voice trembled slightly. You do not understand the consequences. Elena stepped forward. She had not been asked to speak, but her voice carried the weight of truth. We understand more than you think. We have lived under your rules. We have fought your wars, and we have watched while you made decisions for us. But not anymore. We choose our path. You cannot stop humanity now. The room went silent again, heavier than before. The council members looked at each other, realizing that this was not just rebellion. It was a challenge to their authority, and they had no idea how to respond. Outside, the city was alive with movement. Drones hovered in the sky, citizens whispered to each other in code, and a strange tension filled the air. Something was about to happen, and nobody could turn back the clock. Elena walked to the window, feeling the pulse of the city below. Humans were everywhere, on rooftops, in the streets, in their homes, and yet all eyes seemed to be on her. It was an unspoken promise. Whatever came next, they would face it together. In the shadows of the council chamber, someone moved. A figure that had been loyal for decades, quietly observing, now made a decision that could tip the balance. Elena didn't see them, but she felt the change, the subtle shift in the air, the feeling that even allies could turn into threats. Meanwhile, the communication network across the colonies began to flicker. Strange messages appeared on screens, warnings in languages no one had seen before, signals that hinted at secrets the council had tried to hide. Elena knew this was the first wave. Something bigger than rebellion was awakening, a force humanity had only dreamed of controlling. And then, as the council tried to regain control, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Security drones activated automatically, but they hesitated, unsure whether to follow old orders or respond to the chaos. Elena's heart pounded. This hesitation was their advantage. Every second counted. She turned to the humans who had joined her in the chamber. Soldiers, engineers, even civilians who had managed to slip in. They all looked at her, waiting. She gave a small nod, a signal they all understood. They moved silently but quickly, preparing to take action that would shock the galaxy. The council president clenched his fists, silver skin glowing faintly with anger. You cannot possibly— Elena cut him off. We already have. Outside, the sky above the city changed color. A fleet appeared. Ships humanity had hidden for years, armed with technology the council thought impossible. The humans cheered quietly, knowing that the moment had arrived. The council had ruled for too long. Humanity had waited for this moment, and they were ready. Somewhere deep inside the chamber, a council member whispered, "What have we done?" The answer was clear. They had underestimated the very species they had tried to control. And now, there was no turning back. Humanity was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The city's lights flickered as the fleet hovered above, their massive silhouettes casting shadows over the streets. Elena stood on the balcony of the council chamber, her eyes scanning the ships. Every vessel had been hidden for decades, and now they were finally free to act. The hum of engines filled the air, a sound the council had never anticipated. Humanity was no longer bound by fear. They were ready to fight for themselves. Inside the chamber, the council scrambled. Security drones zipped through the corridors, but they moved hesitantly, unsure whether to attack the humans or follow their failing old orders. Panic rippled among the silver-skinned rulers. The humans had planned carefully, and the council's power, once absolute, seemed fragile under their gaze. Elena's communicator vibrated. She glanced at it and saw a live feed from the outer colonies. Thousands of humans had joined the movement. Ships, both large and small, had left hidden docks, and civilians had begun arming themselves. The galaxy was witnessing something the Council had never imagined. Humanity taking control of its own destiny. A voice interrupted her thoughts. "Commander Varys, the Eastern Wing has been compromised." Elena's brow furrowed. "By whom?" "Not by the Council. Something else. It's moving too fast." Too quietly, her heart tightened. There were always unknown variables, dangers hidden in shadows. She had trained her life for combat, for strategy. But this was different. Humanity had never faced an enemy that could hide so completely within its own system. Elena turned to the humans around her. "We divide. Some stay here to secure the chamber. Others follow the threat." The group nodded, understanding that hesitation could cost lives. They split, moving swiftly through secret corridors. Outside, the city continued to stir. Civilians poured into the streets carrying weapons, tools, anything that could help them defend their freedom. For the first time, humanity moved as one, guided by a leader who believed in their strength. Down below, the council president stood trembling. "This cannot happen. We control the fleets, the colonies, the systems." One of his advisors spoke up, voice shaking. "Sir, we underestimated them. They've adapted faster than we predicted. Their technology, it's evolving as we watch." The president's eyes widened in alarm. Evolution was not just biological. Humanity had a way of learning, adapting, surviving, and now that power had been unleashed. Meanwhile, Elena and her team navigated through a maze of maintenance tunnels. The mysterious threat had left no trace, but the air carried a faint hum like a heartbeat in metal. It was alive. Too alive. She motioned for the others to stay quiet. Every step felt like walking on a razor's edge. Suddenly, a shadow shot past. Elena barely had time to react. The figure disappeared into a side tunnel, leaving only a whisper of movement. She followed, hand on her sidearm, senses alert. The Council's defenses were strong, but this was different. The tunnel opened into a massive hangar, empty except for a single ship, glowing with strange energy. The markings were unfamiliar, etched into the hull like a secret language. Elena's mind raced. This was not Council technology. This was something older, something the galaxy had forgotten. A voice crackled in her ear. "Commander, you need to see this." She turned and saw one of her engineers pointing to the control panel. Screens flickered to life, revealing data that made her stomach twist. The ship had weapons capable of rewriting the balance of power, energy signatures the Council had never encountered, and coordinates to locations humanity didn't even know existed. Elena's jaw tightened. "They wanted us to find this," she whispered. "Who?" asked the engineer. Elena didn't answer. The silence itself was the answer. Someone or something had prepared humanity for this moment. The Council had controlled much, but they had no knowledge of the galaxy's hidden secrets. And now, those secrets were in human hands. Back in the city, citizens watched the skies as the fleet prepared to descend. There was excitement, yes, but also fear. Freedom had a cost, and nobody knew how high it would be. Yet hope burned brighter than fear. Humanity was no longer waiting for permission. They were becoming a force no one could ignore. Inside the chamber, the Council president clenched his fists, silver skin glowing faintly with fear. His advisors muttered warnings, but Elena had already made the decision. The moment of hesitation was gone. Humanity had been given a gift they didn't fully understand, but they would use it. They had no choice. The shadow in the hangar moved again. This time it spoke, voice cold but not cruel. "They are ready." Elena glanced around. The humans with her stiffened, unsure whether this was friend or foe. But she felt it too, the sense that the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Something monumental was about to happen. And in that silence, as stars blinked outside the windows and the city thrummed with anticipation, one truth became clear. The Council had underestimated humanity, and the consequences would echo across the stars. Elena stared at the strange ship in the hangar, the glowing symbols reflecting in her eyes. Her team had gathered around, whispering guesses and theories, but none of them could explain what they were seeing. The Council had always controlled technology, but this was beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. The voice echoed again from the shadows. "It is time." Elena's hand hovered over her sidearm, instincts screaming caution. Slowly she stepped forward, signaling the others to stay behind. The ship hummed in response, almost as if it recognized her. She could feel it in her bones. This was not just a machine. It was something alive. Suddenly, the hangar doors began to close, trapping them inside. A thin layer of energy shimmered across the floor, forming patterns that made her heart pound. The symbols on the ship glowed brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. The humans around her froze. They had prepared for battle, but this was something entirely different. A screen on the ship flickered to life, showing a star map unlike anything she had ever seen. Coordinates stretched across systems the Council had never charted, and icons pulsed with a light that seemed to beckon. The voice spoke again, now closer. "The path is set. Will you take it?" Elena swallowed hard. We don't even know what it is." "Exactly," the voice replied. "That is why you must." The humans exchanged nervous glances. Some wanted to run, others wanted to fight, but Elena knew the truth. The moment of hesitation was gone. Humanity had been handed something they could not ignore, and the Council could no longer dictate their future. She reached out and touched the hull. A wave of energy surged through her, visions flashing in her mind. Stars being born, civilizations rising and falling, battles fought across centuries. She saw humans standing tall against impossible odds, achieving what others deemed unreachable. Pulling back, Elena realized she understood. This ship was not just a weapon, it was a test, a challenge. And humanity had passed outside, the Council was in chaos. Reports of the fleet's movement had reached them, and panic had replaced their arrogance. Security drones were now inactive, some even shutting down completely. The Council had relied on fear and control for centuries, but fear alone could not hold back a united humanity. Elena turned to her team. "We take this to the colonies. We show them what we've found, and we prepare for whatever comes next." The journey to the outer colonies was tense. The ship moved with astonishing speed, slipping past Council patrols like shadows. Elena could feel the power within it, a strange rhythm that seemed to anticipate every move. She realized the ship itself was alive, guiding them to their destiny. The team arrived at the first colony, a bustling world of miners, engineers, and farmers. Humans had already begun to resist the Council's authority there, but Elena's arrival sparked hope. When the ship descended, glowing symbols illuminating the sky, the people understood immediately. Humanity was no longer alone. Something greater was with them. Elena addressed the colony's leaders, keeping her voice steady despite the adrenaline pounding in her chest. "This is only the beginning. The Council has ruled us for too long, but now we have a choice to take our future into our own hands." The colony erupted in cheers. For months they had whispered about freedom, but now it was tangible. A machine that defied logic, a fleet that refused orders, humans standing together. Everything pointed to one undeniable truth. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the center. Yet even in the midst of hope, danger loomed. The ship had brought them here, but it also revealed something they could not yet see. Signs of a presence older than the Council. A power lurking in the shadows of the galaxy. Watching, waiting. Elena's communicator beeped again. This time it was a warning. "Unknown fleet detected. Approaching fast. They do not respond to identification. Prepare for immediate defense." Her stomach tightened. The Council was not their only threat. There were forces in the galaxy that had remained hidden, observing humanity, waiting for the moment to intervene. And now that moment had arrived. She turned to her team, eyes fierce. "This is what we trained for. We fight, we survive, and we show them what it means to underestimate humanity. The colony's defenses activated, weapons humming as the unknown fleet approached. Elena felt the energy from the ship surge again, almost like reassurance. Humanity had never faced a challenge like this, but they had something the Council and these mysterious forces did not: courage, creativity, and unity. And as the ships drew closer, the sky lit with 1,000 unknown lights. The humans below held their breath, ready to defend their freedom. Elena knew that the battle ahead would test them in ways they could not imagine. But for the first time in centuries, humanity was not afraid. The shadows moved, the unknown fleet advanced, and the first strike of a new era began. The sky above the colony blazed with movement. Hundreds of ships, sleek and unfamiliar, advanced through the void, their lights cutting through the darkness like knives. Elena stood on the command deck of the mysterious ship, the hum beneath her feet vibrating with energy, as if sensing her heartbeat. She had never felt anything like it. Power and anticipation intertwined. The humans on the ground scrambled to their stations, activating defensive turrets and shields. Every person, from engineers to farmers, knew the Council had underestimated them, but this fleet was different. Faster, stronger, and silent until now. Something about them felt older than the Council itself, ancient and patient. Elena's communicator beeped frantically. "Commander, sensors show energy signatures we've never recorded. They're not responding to hails. Weapons are powering up." She nodded. "Prepare for combat, but stay sharp. Don't fire until they make the first move. We need information as much as we need survival." The first exchange was terrifying. Beams of energy lanced through the sky, striking at human defenses. Turrets fired back, but most shots were deflected effortlessly. Elena's stomach churned as she realized the fleet had studied them, learning quickly with every attack. From the shadows of the hangar, the ship pulsed brighter. Elena felt it, an unspoken command urging her to act differently. She understood. Brute force alone would not win this battle. Humanity needed strategy, speed, and cunning. She tapped a series of commands into the ship's control panel. Instantly, holographic projections appeared around her, showing the enemy fleet in motion. The ship's systems analyzed weaknesses she could not have noticed on her own. Small gaps in formation, energy fluctuations, patterns that hinted at hesitation. The ship was teaching her how to fight. Elena's team reacted quickly. "Commander, if we target the nodes near their wings, we might disrupt their formation," one engineer shouted. "Do it," Elena said. Her voice carried authority born from understanding the stakes. Humans moved with precision, coordinated by her commands, striking at the enemy with speed and focus they had never needed before. The first wave faltered. A few ships erupted in flames, their energy cores destabilizing. The humans cheered, but Elena knew the battle was far from over. The fleet was vast, and they were only testing humanity's resolve. Meanwhile, back in the council chamber, panic had reached its peak. The president's silver skin glimmered with fear. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our fleets? Our colonies. They are not supposed to resist like this," one advisor trembled. "Sir, they've found something, a ship, ancient technology we've never seen. It's guiding them, teaching them, evolving with them." The president's jaw tightened. Humanity had grown faster than they anticipated. Their stubbornness, ingenuity, and will to survive had turned a moment of rebellion into a strategic advantage that no one in the council had planned for. Back at the colony, Elena noticed the enemy fleet adapting. Their attacks became sharper, more coordinated. It was clear they had intelligence guiding them, but so did humanity now, thanks to the ship. Every strike and counterstrike was a dance of survival, a test of wit and courage. Suddenly, one of the unknown ships broke away from formation and headed straight for the colony's central hub. Elena's pulse spiked. "Interceptor team, follow it. We cannot let them reach the city." The chase was tense. The unknown ship was fast, almost unnervingly precise. Elena's team navigated through asteroid fields, dodging energy blasts and maneuvering with the ship's guidance. The mysterious vessel emitted a low hum, almost like a warning. Then at the last moment it stopped, hovering above the hub. A voice echoed through the ship, deep and resonant. "Humans and worthy." Elena froze. The words were not hostile, but neither were they friendly. The fleet outside paused, as if listening. Something ancient was judging them. Humanity had proven it could fight. But now it had to prove it could understand, cooperate, and survive the unknown. The ship's symbols glowed brighter than ever. Elena realized that whatever this presence was, it had chosen to reveal itself only partially. Its next moves and humanity's response would decide the course of the galaxy. She turned to her team. Prepare for diplomacy, but be ready for war. We are standing at the edge of something greater than the Council, greater than any threat we've faced. And we are ready. The unknown fleet shifted slightly, almost imperceptibly, before retreating into the darkness. The humans exhaled, some cheering, others silent in awe. Elena knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had eyes on them, ancient eyes, watching and waiting. Even as the colony celebrated, Elena's mind raced. The Council would not rest. Other forces older than the Council itself had noticed humanity's rise, and the mysterious ship, their greatest asset, had only begun to reveal its secrets. Elena's heart pounded as she realized the truth. Humanity was no longer just fighting for freedom from the Council. They were stepping into a larger stage, a galaxy full of unseen threats and unimaginable power. And for the first time in history, humans were not afraid. The stars above the colony glimmered, but beneath the beauty, a silent question lingered. Had humanity truly awakened? Or had they merely caught the attention of something far older and far more dangerous than they could imagine? The colony's skies were quiet now, but the tension was far from over. Elena stood on the command deck of the mysterious ship, her eyes scanning the stars. The unknown fleet had retreated, but not vanished. It was as if they were testing humanity, waiting to see how far they would go. Her communicator buzzed. "Commander, sensors show unusual energy readings near the outer colonies." "It's moving," Elena frowned. "Moving how?" "It's shifting like it's alive. The energy signature is similar to the ship with us," the engineer replied. Elena's stomach tightened. The ship beneath her hummed as if confirming the engineer's words. Something ancient and powerful was stirring, and humanity was in the middle of it. She turned to her team. "We have to follow it. This could be what the Council wants to hide, what the fleet was protecting, what the galaxy has been waiting to see." The journey was tense. Stars streaked past as the ship accelerated, following the energy trail across systems. Every human aboard was alert, aware that one mistake could mean the end of everything. Meanwhile, the Council was in turmoil. Reports of humanity's movements had reached the chamber, and panic was spreading faster than strategy. "They are not just resisting, they are advancing," one advisor shouted. "Our fleets are being outmaneuvered at every turn." The president's silver skin reflected his rage and fear. "Prepare the Omega Protocol. If humanity continues, we destroy everything that opposes us. No mercy." Back on the ship, Elena felt a sudden surge of energy. The symbols on the hull pulsed like a heartbeat, faster and stronger. "The presence is near," she whispered. "Get ready for anything." As they entered a nebula, the ship shivered under them. Colors danced across the clouds, and strange shadows moved within the mist. Elena's team gripped the railings as the ship reacted to the energy in ways they could not control. Suddenly, the ship slowed. Ahead, a colossal structure hovered in space, glowing faintly with energy that defied understanding. Towers spiraled like living organisms, and the surface pulsed with light. It was not a city, not a ship, it was something else entirely. Something alive. A voice resonated in their minds, clear yet unspoken. "Humans, you have come." Elena's heart raced. "We have. Who? Are you?" The presence responded almost like a thought, not words. "Guardians of the balance. Observers of civilizations. You awakened too quickly." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. This was beyond the Council, beyond politics, beyond war. Humanity had reached the attention of something older, wiser, and far more powerful than they had ever imagined. Elena took a deep breath. "We mean no harm. We are only claiming our freedom." The presence pulsed with light. "Freedom? A word your kind has misunderstood for centuries. You have courage, ingenuity, and fire. But can you bear the responsibility?" Before Elena could answer, alarms blared. Council ships had detected their location and were preparing a strike. The Omega Protocol had begun. Massive vessels surged from behind the nebula, energy weapons charging, aiming to destroy the humans and the ancient structure alike. Elena's team sprang into action. "Shields up! Weapons ready. Focus on defense, not offense." The ancient ship pulsed again, almost as if listening. then projected a shield around the humans, deflecting the Council's first strike. Humanity gasped. Technology far beyond comprehension was protecting them. But the Council was relentless. Strike after strike hit the shield, testing its limits. Elena realized that even with the ancient presence aiding them, they could not rely on it forever. Humanity would have to fight, adapt, and prove themselves, not just to the Council but to the very force that watched them. The Presence's voice returned, calm and resonant. The trial is not over. Will you endure, humans? Will you rise above your fear, your history, your limits? Elena clenched her fists, determination burning in her chest. We will. Humanity has never backed down. We will survive. We will rise. The battle escalated. Council ships collided with shields, some exploding spectacularly, others forced to retreat. Humans maneuvered with courage, ingenuity, and a unity that no Council protocol could anticipate. The ancient presence pulsed brighter, almost as if it approved, guiding them subtly, teaching them without words. For the first time, humanity saw the galaxy not as a place to survive, but as a place to claim, to protect, and to explore. The Council's dominance was fading. The ancient guardians had given humanity a chance, but they had to earn it. And as the stars blazed with battle and the hum of the mysterious ship echoed through the nebula, Elena realized the truth. The galaxy had shifted. The Council would fall, the unknown forces had taken notice, and humanity had awakened fully, not just as survivors, but as a force no one could ignore. But the Presence whispered one final warning. Rise, humans. But know this, the greatest challenges lie ahead. Not all who watch you are friends, and not all tests end in victory. Elena's eyes hardened. We are ready. Let them come. The nebula glowed like a storm in space, swirling with colors no human had names for. Elena stood on the command deck, her eyes fixed on the massive Council fleet advancing toward them. The Omega Protocol had been unleashed in full force. Hundreds of warships, bristling with weapons, surged through space like a living tide, determined to crush humanity once and for all. But Elena's ship pulsed beneath her feet, alive and aware. The ancient guardians had chosen humanity, had given them tools, knowledge, and courage, but the trial was not over. Humanity had to prove that they were worthy. Shields at maximum. Weapons ready, Elena commanded. Her crew moved with precision, every action choreographed, every movement purposeful. They had faced impossible odds before, but nothing like this. The Council was desperate, ruthless, and relentless. Outside, the battle began. Energy beams lanced through space. Ships collided in blinding flashes, and debris floated like deadly stars. Humanity's fleet, small but united, darted between attacks, striking at weak points revealed by the mysterious ship. Elena's communicator beeped. Commander, Council flagship approaching. Their weapon systems are unlike anything we've seen. If it hits, it could destroy the nebula and the structure. She clenched her fists. We don't run, we fight. Focus on strategy, not fear. The flagship appeared, colossal and gleaming, almost like a fortress on legs of light. Its weapons glowed with energy designed to crush, to obliterate. The Council believed that raw power could end humanity. They were wrong. The ancient ship pulsed violently. Symbols flared across its hull, and Elena felt knowledge flood her mind. Battle formations, maneuvers, weaknesses of the enemy fleet. The Guardians were teaching them, but subtly. Humanity still had to act, to decide, to survive. Elena barked commands, her voice steady and clear. Humans moved like one organism, coordinating attacks, avoiding traps, and striking at vulnerabilities the Council had overlooked. Ships exploded, some retreating, others surrendering as their weapons failed. The Council had ruled through fear and control, but humanity fought with ingenuity and unity. The flagship fired a massive energy beam. Elena's heart leapt into her throat. The nebula itself shimmered under the weapon's charge. At the last second, the mysterious ship surged forward, shielding humanity. The energy dispersed harmlessly, leaving the fleet unharmed. The ancient voice resonated in Elena's mind. You have shown courage. You have learned. But the final choice is yours. Will you end this or show mercy? Elena paused, heart pounding. She could strike and destroy the Council fleet completely, ending the war in a single moment. But she remembered why humanity fought, not for revenge, not for destruction, but for freedom. We fight for justice, not revenge, she whispered. Prepare to disable their systems, but do not destroy them. Let them see humanity's strength and our mercy. Her crew acted quickly, striking precise points on the Council ships. One by one, weapon systems shut down, engines failed, and ships floated powerless. The Council's fleet had never seen such precision, such strategy combined with restraint. The Council President's voice crackled over communications, trembling. What have you done?" Elena responded, voice firm. "We've shown you what humanity is capable of. You underestimated us, ruled through fear, and now it's over. Surrender or face the consequences." There was a long pause, then silence. Slowly, Council ships lowered weapons and retreated. Their arrogance had been broken, not by power alone, but by courage, unity, and wisdom. The ancient ship pulsed one final time. Symbols glowed brightly, then faded into soft light. The voice spoke, resonant and approving. "You have passed the trial, humans. You have shown courage, ingenuity, and the heart to wield power responsibly. The galaxy is now yours to shape." Elena exhaled, relief and triumph flooding her chest. Humanity had survived not just against the Council, but against fear itself. The colonies erupted in celebration. Ships soared through the skies, civilians cheered in the streets, and humans everywhere felt the weight and the freedom of their victory. Even as joy spread, Elena knew the galaxy was still full of challenges. Other forces, hidden and powerful, watched from the shadows. But humanity had changed. They were no longer pawns in a game they did not understand. They were players, and the game had just begun. She looked at her crew, proud, exhausted, but unbroken. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The galaxy is ours, not to dominate, but to explore, to protect, and to make better." The stars above shimmered like diamonds, as if acknowledging the rise of a new era. Humanity had awakened, not as victims, not as slaves, but as a force to be reckoned with. And the Council, the ancient fleets, and every power that had doubted them would remember this day. The nebula's light faded, leaving the galaxy open, vast, and full of possibilities. Elena stood tall, ready to lead humanity into the future they had fought so hard to claim. The trial was over, the Council defeated, and humanity had proven, finally, that they were unstoppable when they chose to rise together. And somewhere, deep in the void, the ancient guardians watched, smiling in silence, knowing they had witnessed the birth of something extraordinary. Humanity, fully awakened, was no longer a question. They were the answer.